Let's be real. The list of perfect video games is pretty short. But if there's one name that's always on it, it's Portal. Released way back in October 2007 as part of Valve's legendary Orange Box. It was for a lot of us just a surprise bonus. It was packed in with titans like Half-Life 2, Episode 2, Team Fortress, and yet this bonus game, made by a tiny team of about 10 people, would go on to sell millions and build a legacy that most games can only dream of. I recently jumped back into the world of Aperture Science, full 18 years after its release, to see if it still holds up. In an industry that's always chasing the next big thing, can a game this old, with just one core mechanic, still be called a masterpiece in 2025? After rediscovering it for myself, I can tell you the answer is a huge, resounding yes. And it all starts with the promise of cake. You wake up in a glass box called the Relaxation Vault. The whole vibe is sterile, but weirdly calming. Then a disembodied digital voice greets you. This is GLaDOS, the genetic life form and disk operating system. She'll be your guide, your teacher, and your tormentor for your entire stay at the Aperture Science Enrichment Center. She talks to you in this detached, almost helpful tone, walking you through the controls like you're a toddler taking your first steps.
Excellent. Please proceed into the chamber lock after completing each test. First, however, note the incandescent particle field across the exit. This Aperture Science Material Emancipation Grill will vaporize any unauthorized equipment that passes through it. For instance, the Aperture Science Weighted Storage Cube.
But what's so striking about Portal even today is how confident it is. Remember, it came in the Orange Box, a bundle that was bursting with value. So Valve didn't need to stretch Portal out or over-explain anything. It had a safety net. And that context is really important. Portal didn't have the pressure of a $60 standalone game, so it could be exactly what it needed to be. A short, dense, perfectly paced ride. The first few test chambers are pretty simple. All the while, GLaDOS keeps up her deadpan instructions, peppering in these bizarre, dark, funny promises. She assures you that if you finish all the tests, you'll be rewarded with cake. It's such a silly little motivator, but it's the first thread of a story that slowly unravels into something much, much creepier. The enrichment center is completely empty, and GLaDOS's reassurances get weirdly specific. Like mentioning the advice submission form box is not a place to deposit dead bodies. It just amplifies that feeling of dread. You're not a participant, you're a lab rat. And the scientist watching you has a twisted sense of humour. So the game's genius really kicks in when you get the Aperture Science handheld Portal device. At first you can only make one blue portal. The orange one is in a fixed spot, set by the designers to guide you. The limitation is actually a masterclass in teaching. There are no long tutorials, no pop-ups telling you what to do. The game just gives you a room you can't cross and a tool, and the rest is up to you. The early puzzles are all about teaching you the basic language of the portals. You learn you can see through them, walk through them, and carry stuff through them. Test Chamber 4 introduces momentum. You drop a long way into a portal on the floor and come flying out of the portal on the wall. Soaring over a gap, it's the first aha moment that you'll have. That's when it clicks in your brain, where you just get the physics of this new reality. The game isn't just testing your logic, it's literally rewiring your brain to see space in a way no game had before. And the difficulty curve, it's a thing of beauty. Each chamber has something new, buttons you need to hold down with cubes, energy fields that erase your portals, or deadly energy pellets you have to redirect. Every new challenge is built on what you've already mastered. It's a seamless progression that makes you feel like a genius every time you solve a puzzle. And GLaDOS is always there. The commentary gets more and more passive aggressive.
As part of a previously mentioned required test protocol, we can no longer lie to you. When the testing is over, you will be missed.
That contrast between her chipper tone and her morbid words is where Portal's dark humour really sings. The moment you get fully upgraded, the dual portal gun is a total game changer. Now you control the entrance and the exit. The training wheels are officially off at that point. The puzzles immediately explode in a complexity and demand this new kind of three-dimensional abstract thinking. You're not just solving a puzzle anymore, you're creating the solution. This is where flinging becomes your best friend. By putting a portal at the bottom of a long drop and another on the wall, you turn vertical momentum into horizontal speed, launching you across huge distances. Mastering this feels incredible. It's a system that just rewards creativity and experimentation. A physics playground that's just as satisfying in 2025 as it was back in 2007. The puzzles now have you chaining these moves together, creating these wild loops of falling and flying to get through the test chambers. But as you get more powerful, GLaDOS's friendly mask starts to slip. Her praise feels empty and her instructions sound more like threats. She casually mentions that the previous test subjects, well, she never quite finishes that thought. She warns you that an upcoming test is impossible, designed by black-hearted scientists who have since been fired. Her attempts to sound concerned are so obviously fake that it's hilarious. You're getting more capable, more dangerous, and she's noticing. That feeling of being a willing participant is fading fast, replaced by the slow, dawning horror that you're a prisoner in a very deadly game.
Did you know you can donate one or all of your vital organs to the Aperture Science Self-Esteem Fund for Girls? It's true.
Not long after the portal gun, you meet another iconic Aperture creation, the sentry turrets. They're these sleek white tripod-mounted machine guns with a single glowing red eye. But when they see you, they don't sound an alarm. They speak in these polite, almost childlike voices. The mix of cute and deadly is pure Portal. It's funny, it's creepy, and it's completely unforgettable. The puzzles start to use new threats, turning chambers into lethal obstacle courses. You have to use portals to sneak up behind the turrets, drop cubes on them, or even get them to shoot each other. The tension is way higher, but so is the satisfaction. It's around this time that you'll start noticing other things. Tucked away in hidden corners, behind loose wall panels, you find these desperate messages scrawled on the walls. Little dens left by someone who was here before you. And you keep seeing the same graffiti tag, a warning that's now legendary. The cake is a lie. And suddenly it's not a suspicion anymore, it's a fact. There is no reward. The only thing waiting for you at the end is a trap. That discovery changes everything. Your goal isn't completion anymore, it's survival.
Well done, Android. The Enrichment Center once again reminds you that Android Hell is a real place where you will be sent at the first sign of defiance.
And then you walk into Test Chamber 17. GLaDOS introduces you to the weighted companion cube. It looks just like all the other cubes except for a single hand-painted pink heart on each side.
This weighted companion cube will accompany you through the test chamber. Please take care of it.
What happens next is the most brilliant, psychologically messed up levels in gaming history. For a whole chamber, the inanimate box is your only partner. You use it to block energy pellets and hold down buttons. All the while, GLaDOS reinforces your bond with it. She tells you it will never threaten to stab you and in fact can't speak. But if it does start talking, you should definitely ignore its advice. Just by framing it this way, Valve actually makes you care about the box. Then comes the gut punch. To leave the chamber, you have to take your one and only friend and toss it into an incinerator. Congratulations. For so many players, this is the moment the game flips. It stops being just about solving puzzles. It becomes about defiance. GLaDOS isn't a guide, she's a liar and a manipulator. and you suddenly have this overwhelming need to see what's really going on behind the scenes. So at the end of your final test, GLaDOS's act entirely falls apart. It becomes chillingly clear that her promise of reward and celebration were never what they seemed. This is the moment the game asks you to make a choice: follow her instructions to the bitter end, or use the very tool that she gave you to find your way out. This is where you go completely off the rails. The game's whole structure flips upside down. You break out the clean white test chambers and into the grimy mechanical guts of Aperture science. For the first time, you aren't following a path, you're making one, portal by portal, through the hidden superstructure of the facility. This entire section is a masterclass in environmental storytelling. You're navigating shaky catwalks and crawling through maintenance shafts, seeing the giant pistons and gears that run the facility, and all the while GLaDOS is right there with you. Her voice changing completely. The calm, collected AI is gone. Now she's panicked, furious, and desperate to get you back under her control. Your journey through the bowels of Aperture eventually leads you to the very heart of the facility. You're not her lab rat anymore, you're a bug in the system. A variable she can't control. And you're heading straight for the source. The sense of dread and anticipation is immense. GLaDOS's attempts to trick you, to bargain with you, to threaten you, they all become more and more unhinged. She tries to gaslight you, claiming her previous actions were just part of the test. It's both terrifying and hilarious. This is the ultimate test of everything you've learned. It's not just about solving one more puzzle, but about using your wits and the portal gun in a high-stakes, hostile environment. The game trusts you to combine all of the skills, flinging, redirecting, and thinking in 3 dimensions, to push forward toward a final, unforgettable confrontation. Something that happens in the final moments is something I wouldn't dare spoil, even after all these years. It's an ending that's so perfectly crafted, so clever, and so memorable that it cemented Portal's place in video game history. It doesn't just end the story, it brilliantly recontextualizes the entire experience you just had, turning your 3-hour journey into something even more special. The climax is the final exam for every single skill the game has taught you, a culmination of logic, reflexes, and creative thinking. The resolution is hilarious, it's witty, and it's very satisfying, paying off every puzzle, every line of dialogue, and every dark joke in the most perfect way possible. It's a conclusion that has been discussed and celebrated for years, and for very good reason. So, in 2025, is Portal still a perfect masterpiece? Absolutely. Its design is so tight it hasn't aged a day. In a world of 100-hour open-world games with endless checklists, Portal's short and sweet 3-hour campaign feels more refreshing than ever. There is zero fat on this game. Every puzzle, every line of dialogue, every piece of the environment has a purpose. It respects your intelligence, teaches you its complex mechanics without holding your hand, and trusts you to figure it out. The portal gun is still one of the most creative and fun mechanics ever, and GLaDOS is simply one of the most iconic characters ever written for a game. Portal is proof of what can happen if you have focused design, brilliant mechanics, and writing that you'll never forget. It's a real triumph, but hey, that's just my take. What do you think? Does Portal still hold up for you in 2025? Or is it all just nostalgia? What's your favourite moment from Aperture Science? Was it a companion cube? The first time you successfully flung yourself across a room? Or that incredible feeling of finally understanding the game's true nature? Let me know down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this look back at a classic, maybe consider subscribing and hitting the like button. It tells the YouTube gods that we're doing important science here for the good of all of us. Except the ones who are dead.